This is the 2023 Hyundai IONIQ 5. This is the SEL trim, all-wheel drive with 266 miles of range, EPA rated. I bought this on Monday, approximately 6 days ago. Let's take a look. So the SEL trim and the limited trim both have a thing where you approach the car and the car on its own recognizes the key and presents the door handle and unlocks, making it very easy to walk up and open the car without having to fumble the keys or try and find the unlock button in the dark. Similarly, you also just touch the little square on the door handle and it locks the whole car. Let's take a look at the back. Another feature of the SEL Unlimited trim is an auto open trunk. Additionally, it also uses the presence awareness to see when you're nearby and will automatically open the trunk after a set amount of time of you standing next to it. So if you have your hands full, you just walk up and it unlocks for you. You don't have to try and bounce and swipe your foot underneath like some vehicles. It just opens auto-magically. It also auto-closes at the press of a button. Next, let's look at the frunk. Unlike a lot of EVs, this one does have a frunk, but they don't make it easy. You basically have to pull a hood release, like a traditional car. Then, you walk around to the front, you find the hood latch, open it, and then you get all the glorious interior things. So as you can see under here, unlike a traditional EV, there's not just a big open space that you can call your frunk. In fact, it looks a lot more like a traditional internal combustion car than an EV. Here you have your washer fluid, various battery fluids, brake fluid, fuse box, and then if you lift up this latch right here, that's actually your EV storage right there. And as you can tell, it's not very big. But it does have your cabin air filter right here. You just pull that open and you can replace it right there. Being a two-row EV with quite a lot of rear area, the back seats actually get ample legroom and space. As you can see, my driving seat is in the normal position I would drive in. And I'm not exactly the tallest guy on the block, but I have plenty of legroom, plenty of foot room. There's a armrest in the middle with cup holders. You got a little net right there. 2 USB ports for charging your devices. Given that the rear passengers have so much space, you might be thinking, wow, the trunk must be really limited. It's really not though. You actually get quite a lot of space. You even get a false floor for extra things like a first aid kit, the tire mobility kit in lieu of a spare tire, and optional cargo net that actually hooks on to these little D-rings that fit right there. And there's one on each corner. So it's an EV. How do you plug it in? Super easy. Right here, there's a nice little 4-square quadrant right here. You just press that. Opens up the charge port for you. You have your J1772 plug and CCS capabilities for fast charging via DC. It works really well. Goes about 20 to 80% in 12 minutes. Really fantastic. Has a little button to close it right there. One of the cleanest systems on an EV in this price range. And as I said, this is a 2023, and seeing as how it's 2025, I did buy this used, so it does have a few scuffs and scars. It's just more character. So here we are inside of the IONIQ 5, and honestly, the controls look pretty familiar. You have a gear selector right here, and that's going to be right on your, it's almost like a wiper stock, but a little lower, and it is fixed. You actually turn it with the dial. So, to start, foot on the brake, and now it's ready to go. Easy as that. And then to start, you just twist that, and you're ready to go. So let's talk about some of the quirks about driving this car. So right here on the steering wheel, you have 2 paddle shifters, a plus and a minus, and those actually adjust your regen. So it goes from 0 all the way to 3. And once you get past 3, it actually goes into something called I-pedal mode, which allows for one pedal driving. And if you've never heard of that, I think it was first introduced on the Nissan Leaf. But basically it means you press on the accelerator pedal to go forwards, and when you let off, it applies the brakes by itself, including applying regenerative braking. And if you've never heard of regenerative braking, essentially that's where when you let off the gas, it uses the motors to charge the battery, additionally slowing the car down. So if you look right here, there's AC controls, and they're one of the things I don't really love about this car, and that's only because everything's a capacitive button. I wish they were physical buttons, because when you're driving, you're basically needing to look down to find out where to push, and there's no way to really get a muscle memory of where you need to put your fingers and do that. You can get in the vicinity, but with no actual button, you can't just blindly press away. Being electric, this car does have a lot of get up and go, and it is a 1-gear car, unlike the Porsche Taycan, which actually has 2 gears, a low and a high. So on the steering wheel here, this side is basically going to be driver information and driver assistance. So I can press this button, and that's going to be your cruise control. You adjust it with this little toggle switch, basically adjust up, adjust down, and it can actually match the speed limits and tell you what they are. Also, you can change your following distance right there, and you also have lane centering and lane keep assist. Those are 2 different things. Basically, when you see the steering wheel icon, it's going to actively keep you right in the middle of your lane. When you see that icon, it's basically going to stop you from going outside the line. So when you see just that, you're going to get a little bit of that rubber banding effect that you sometimes see on other cars. With that one, it actually does a great job of keeping it right in the middle. So on this side of the steering wheel is basically going to be all of your infotainment controls. So this is your voice assistant, this is your call button. This star icon is actually a custom button that you can bind to specific things in the settings, and this mode button is also a custom button that you can bind to certain things. This toggle switch is going to be your volume, and pressing it is going to mute, and this is going to be skip forward in your song or previous song, or change your radio station depending on how you have that set up in the settings. This button right here is going to be your drive mode selector, and you can choose between sport, eco, or normal. Personally, I just keep it in normal because it's the best of both worlds. When you're over 15 miles an hour, it disables the front motor, which is all that eco mode really does. So I find that really useful. So sport mode just basically prepares the car for you to just mash on the accelerator pedal. It doesn't really do much more besides that. So on your center screen right here, this is basically your home page. This is just going to give you an overview. You kind of have like a weird translucent maps thing going on this side. It tells you how much range you have, your battery percentage. It shows you what music is playing if you have music playing, date, time, weather, and location. And if you click, it actually brings up the EV menu right here. And on here you can see your battery percentage, how far you go with climate control on, how far you can go with climate control turned off, which is usually a little higher because the climate control does eat into that battery system. And you can also click on here to see your nearby charging stations. So you can see there's a Hampton Inn, and if you click on that and you click the little I button right here, then you can see that it gives you real-time information about that charger. So there's 2 chargers there, and one is being used. It also shows you how fast they are, and the exact address and the hours for that location if it's something like a hotel. So I've only had this car for about 300 miles now, you know, less than a week. And honestly, I would say it's a fantastic car. It seems reliable so far. You can charge it at home for pennies. It doesn't take long to charge if you go to a dedicated charging station. And it's a very smooth, comfortable, and quiet ride. And as someone who lives in New Mexico, this AC is fantastic. I've been in many, many cars that do not have AC as good as this one does. And for the price, as well as the accessibility of this car, I don't think you can really beat it for also being electric. If there was something I have to say I don't like about this car, it would be that there's some strange creaks on bumpy roads. And again, being in New Mexico, bumpy roads are not few and far between. They're pretty par for the course. But if you find a nice straight patch of smooth road, it's as quiet as it can be. It really is just the sound of the AC, as well as your music or your podcast or whatever you happen to listen to. I don't know how many of the creaks and stuff are coming through on the microphone, but anytime we hit any kind of bump, you can hear it kind of rattling back there. Alright, so that's it for this video. I'm filming this later because I accidentally forgot to finish filming the video, because life is busy and life is fun like that. So this is what we have now. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.